I like everything about him. I like the fact that he's honest. He's a hard-working man. He's studied, and made companies. He pays taxes. He's married to the same woman. His dad was in business. He's been a governor, and he knows what he's doing. And I need somebody like him to help America now. I want him to be our president.
Peter Alexander from NBC.
And what brings you here tonight?
We're here to speak to Governor Romney, at least to hear him speak, as we have been with him in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, and we're most happy to be in Florida now, clearly.
Is there a sense you're getting around the country of what people are looking for out of a presidential candidate?
I think there's a frustration, certainly within the Republican Party right now, perhaps a resentment and anger about the direction this country's going in right now. And I think a lot of the people we've spoken to are really looking for somebody that can make the changes that they want, redirect the U.S. right now. And I think right now it appears increasingly clear that it's going to be Newt Gingrich or Mitt Romney who will be that person. And I think Florida could be the decider.
What a welcome. And Ormond Beach, thank you so much. Wow, you guys are fabulous. Thank you. Are you ready to send Barack Obama home to Chicago? Last time some people in Florida gave him a pass to the White House. We're taking it back, right? I think it's time to have someone in the White House who knows how to create jobs because he's had a job. What do you think?
Well, I think he's the best choice for us going forward. I think he's going to bring jobs back to the U.S. and, he's the candidate to be Barack Obama.
President Obama represents a very different direction than I do. His view is that government should get larger, that it should become more intrusive, that it should become more bureaucratic. My view is we want a government that is simpler, smaller, and smarter. And if I'm elected, I'll do that. When he campaigned 4 years ago, he said that President Bush's deficits have been too large. His have now been about 3 times larger. He's on track to amass as much public debt as all the prior presidents combined. If he's president for another 4 years, we're headed towards Greece. That's the course we're on. If I'm president, I will cut our spending, I will cap our spending as a percentage of our economy, and I will finally get America a balanced budget. This is a president who has presided over a reduction in our credit rating. Now that doesn't sound very exciting, except what it means is that the people who look at America, and there's a person, by the way, a Wall Street analyst kind of person who wrote a book called USA Inc. She looked at America, her name is Mary Meeker, she looked at it as if it's a company. And when she gets finished, she says, would you invest in this company? The answer was obviously no, because she looks at the obligations we have, and they're so severe, people wonder whether we can possibly meet them. We want to protect Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security for the many people who depend on them and for the young people coming along. But the president has been unwilling to create those programs, to fashion those programs in such a way that they can be permanent and solvent. If I'm president of the United States, I will protect those programs, I will reform them for the coming generations so we can always depend on Social Security and Medicare. The president's path on health care, you know the answer on this one. His view is that he knows better and his people know better how to guide your health care through Obamacare than you know yourself. If I'm president of the United States, on day 1, we'll get rid of Obamacare and we'll return to individual citizens the dynamics of free enterprise and apply that to health care to help get the cost down. Now, let's turn to a different area. The president has an idea about something called venture capital, about the idea of how you start businesses, how the economy grows. His idea is that with crony capitalism, the way he sees it, he'll give money to the people he thinks are the most effective. So he chooses some companies to give to, like Fisker and Tesla, electric car companies, just what we need, by the way. 2 more electric car companies. And then he has Solyndra, his favorite in the, obviously in the green energy area. And by the way, these folks are all associated one way or the other with various fundraising efforts on his side of the aisle. My view is that we should not become a crony capitalist nation like we're seeing around the world. Instead, we should return to free enterprise. I believe in free enterprise. I believe in freedom and in free people choosing their own path. I think this president has concluded that we're on decline relative to other nations, and that therefore we should attempt to appease, in some respects, these other nations. This last week he wrote a note to President Ahmadinejad of Iran asking to get together. Another pretty please note from our president. He also, I think, given the challenges that he faces domestically in their budget, decides to cut our military commitment. $350 billion, another $650 billion on its way. His own Secretary of Defense said we're looking at a doomsday scenario in that course, if that course is taken. By the way, just to give you a sense of what's happening in our military, do you realize we have fewer ships in the Navy today than any time since 1917? And our aircraft fleet in our Air Force is smaller and older than any time since 1947 when it was founded. This president also looks at reducing the number of active duty personnel by some 50,000, despite all the challenges in the world. My view is that his path is wrong, that America must remain strong, that we must stand by our allies, and we must have a military so strong no one would ever think of challenging it. Now we're now in a contest to choose among 3 people, maybe 4. There are 3 of us have each won a contest so far in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina. You're going to have to make a decision. Which of the 3 should become our nominee? I think you know, yeah?
I've been a Republican for 50 years. I've voted all those years. I voted last time for Obama. It was a huge mistake.
So what did you think tonight? What did you think about Romney's speech tonight?
I think he's an effective businessman, communicator, high level of proven experience and performance. I think he's going to win.
You do? You going to vote for him?
Absolutely. I'm going to try to make everybody else vote for him.
We're still thinking, but he sure is very convincing.
He's a good man.
He's a wonderful speaker, and we hope he's just as good in the White House. So
it's a good speech. He said the things that we wanted to hear. We believed in him.
And how about for you, ma'am?
And I'm glad he wants Florida's help, and we'll be willing to help.
Just his honesty, he's all about America, you know, his morals, his working ethics, everything that he believes in as far as America.
And what do you like about him?
Same reason, he's pro-American, pro-freedom.
That's good for you?
Yes, good for me.
Absolutely.
Hey, this is Danielle. We are finishing out the night. We're going to wrap it up. We came back from the Mitt Romney Florida campaign kickoff. There were lots of people. It was a packed house. There were a couple of protesters who came out to voice their opinions. But overall, it seemed to be a pretty patriotic and a very intense crowd. Some people came who weren't sure, but lots of people seemed like they knew what they wanted after they heard him speak. So we'll keep an eye on the candidates, see what they're doing, and we'll bring the next guy to you when he shows up. This is Danielle for WNZF News Radio.